Welcome back to Dan's Bar. Today we are making a cocktail called the Gunslinger Standoff. It's still winter, it's still cold outside a little bit. It's starting to get lighter, but it's still dark enough that I want something smoky. I want something that is just a bunch of gunslingers walking into a place and making some choices for the place. So we're going to be using some smoky stuff from peat and some actual smoke to smoke this thing out quite thoroughly. And now because I've gotten some feedback that I was using a few too many ingredients in some of the cocktails, I've narrowed it down to only include one shelf of things. Just one shelf, that's all. Super simple. So we're going to be doing a Peaty Scotch, a Blended Scotch, a Rye. That's the main combination of three brown liquors we're using. The Peaty Scotch to give us that oomph, that kick, that kind of almost medicinal note to it that's really going to add that nice character to it. We have the Rye to give the kind of dryness, the acidity, the woodiness, the character. So you got the dryness and the kind of earthy notes of the Scotch and the Rye. Those two are going to be our two different gunslingers. And then we got the Blended Scotch in the middle to kind of bring those two together, to merge them in and get them to work well together. So those are kind of our three base spirits. And then we're also going to be adding in some Fernet to give that little spice underneath, a little darkness that overshadows everything. We're also going to be adding in Drambuie, which comes from the Isle of Skye, where you can find Talisker being made. And that's going to give us some more, little sweet notes, a little bit more herbs that are added in, sprinkled on top. These are the bystanders on either side of the old western town that are kind of watching on for good measure. We're adding into that some Angostura bitters and some cardamom bitters. These are, again, just kind of seeing how many different gunslingers we can sprinkle in there, really get things interesting. We're going to have this to be a 7-way different fight across all the different people that are fighting for control. But because they each have that little character they're adding to the drink, they're all going to work really nice together. We're going to top that off with a little bit of maple syrup, that sweetness to kind of round everything out, and we're going to finish it off by smoking the cocktail with some actual smoke on top. Let's get started. So for the first part, we're going to do 1 ounce each of a Peaty Scotch, a Blended Scotch, and a Rye. So we'll get those each added, 1 ounce of each. And now the Rye I'm using is pretty interesting. This one was just started to become available in Chicago a few weeks back. A guy in a photo class that I've been introduced me to it. Really tasty, so we're using that spicy Rye today to kind of finish things off. All right, we have our 3 base spirits. Let's start building up from there. All right, next up we've got our herbal notes, our Fernet and our Drambuie. We're gonna do 1/2 ounce of each to add those to our cocktail as well. Got to be a little careful with the Fernet because any more than 1/2 ounce, then it's really gonna start overpowering the drink. Now that we got that, we're gonna add in our herbs and spices. So we're gonna add in our 2 different bitters and our simple syrup. For this, we've got an Angostura bitters and a cardamom bitters. So we're gonna add just a few dashes of each of those. Now bitters are the spice of cocktails, so depending on how much you add, obviously, that's how much spice is gonna be added. They do have a bitter note, and because we also have our Fernet in there, keep in mind that's also gonna add some bitterness. Finally, our not simple syrup is gonna be our maple syrup. We're gonna just add in a dash of that just to keep things nice and spicy. And that will be our sweet notes. We'll go ahead and give that a shake, double strain that, and then we will smoke it. So shaking first. Excellent, nice and chilled. We're gonna go ahead and give that a strain. Get all that good stuff in there. That'll do you proper. All right, now because we have a lot of strain here, and this is gonna be a fairly nice drink, we wanna make sure we get nice clarity in. We are gonna do a double strain so we get all the ice chips out of there as well. All right, get this cleaned up, and then it's time for a smoke. The last step here for our Gunslinger Standoff is going to be to smoke it. So for that, we have our smoker, and we're gonna use this little thing to pop that on top, and we're gonna be using hickory chips. Not too many, because we're only smoking 1 cocktail. And the best part, hi-ya! Ha! All right, so get these kind of up and smoldering just a little bit. Beautiful, got some nice smoke there. Let's smoke it. We'll get our smoker out of the way. All right, are you ready for the beautiful part, beauty of this? Love a good smoked cocktail. The ambiance it adds to the air. How much it puts in the drink is up for debate, but it really just adds a nice ambiance. So give that a try. Gunslinger Standoff. Oh, there's so much going on there. Oh, you can feel each gunslinger battling for control, but because they're all there, they're all the same level, they're all the same amount of intensity, they all work really, really nicely together. So, a lot of ingredients, but take it from what it is. All the different intense flavors that you like, you can put them together as long as they're kind of accompanied in each side by the other things that work for them. So, really nice combination of flavors in the cocktail. Give it a try. It's still cold outside. It's still dark too early. Give it a try and warm things up for yourself. Till we drink again, cheers.